Hello everyone, this is Douglas from Other Than Intended Purpose. Jack's behind the camera. And we have a special type of video tonight. Normally I say that this video is not sponsored by anyone and no one sent me this to review. Well, I'm still not sponsored technically, but Bak Pak B. I had that written down and I didn't even need to pull that out. I should have just said it. Bak Pak B sent me this knife tonight. And this is a knife that for two separate reasons I would not be able to do a review on without him. One of those reasons is the manufacturer's suggested retail price is $300. The retail price is $168. That's more than I've spent on just about anything in my life. Certainly in the last few years. The other reason that we would not be able to review this without him is I live in California. And even though the county that I am in has some of the loosest knife laws in the state, state law says you cannot purchase, import, change title of, sell, or carry outside of your home automatic knives. It also includes gravity knives and double-edged knives or dirks and daggers. And what we have today is an automatic knife. Now, I've had this for a couple of weeks. I've kept it around my desk. It's stayed in my cave because while carrying it from the post office in a sealed box was legal, and returning it to the post office in a sealed box will be legal, putting this in my pocket and walking out my front door is not. So what we have here today is the Homerknife Chen 185. And while I am reading the stats on it, Jack, would you like to show both sides of that to the camera? This is closed length, 4 inches.
Hold on a second.
You need more light over there?
Where's the O bulb? Oh, here's one.
That works too.
That's bright?
Yeah?
Okay.
There
we go.
Do you need 2 O bulbs?
That should be good.
Okay. Closed length is 4 inches. The blade is 2.75 inches, which makes it illegal in California. You can have an automatic knife up to 2 inches. I wouldn't do it anyway just because some cops may be less informed on that aspect. And the overall length is 6.75 inches. It has titanium handle scales and all of the hardware is titanium. The blade thickness is 2.83 millimeters, which is 0.111 of an inch. And I'm like that, so I figured I did the little bit of math on that, and it's 1/9 of an inch in thickness. It is on ceramic ball bearings. The blade is 154 cm to harden to a 60 to 61 HRC, and it is a USA made knife. And this is the action on this is very snappy. It's very good. The lockup on it is dead on. There's no wiggle. You got nothing up and down, nothing side to side. When you close it, because it's an automatic, there's absolutely nothing exposed on the top. I mean, you can see the jimping, but There's nothing exposed at all. And it is very well centered. The pocket clip on it is a deep carry clip. When you put that in your pocket, very little is showing. If you're wearing dark pants, it would pretty much disappear. Now, because of not being able to carry it, I've been doing things with it in the cave just to have an idea of how it works. And I'm going to say the good points first. The action on it is very, very snappy. Every single time it locks out, that ting that you hear is it locking. You also push the button that opens it. You have to push that to unlock it. And if you look in from the back, well, you can't very well on camera because it's very tiny and in a dark hole. You can actually see the bar moving that locks it open and closed. I tried cutting quite a bit of stuff with it. Because I'm a bushcrafter, my go-to thing is to cut paracord, and it cuts it like a knife 3 times the length of blade. I mean, it's just instant. This is some nylon cord that's not paracord that I have had trouble cutting in the past. Not that it's trouble cutting it, but it cuts very ugly. It gives very rough edges, and those are coming off very, very clean. Make sure that my address isn't on there. I have a VA appointment on Wednesday, oh, you don't need it. It goes through paper just effortlessly. I mean, that you can get just tiny little shavings off of there. For someone with small hands, which is not me, who is allowed to carry an automatic, this would be a very nice knife. It has really good geometry on it. I would call this an extremely high saber. It is not a full flat in that I think you can see where the black is on that is actually I just poked myself in the damn hand. I'm an idiot. Where you can see the black on the blade is actually the full thickness of the blade. The grind starts down where it stops being black. But it is very, very thin behind the edge. It's very slicey. Where this does not work for me, because it's an automatic, I can't carry it. And because of the size, I have a hard time carrying it. Here's one we have not done a review on yet. To give you a size comparison, this is an ST-133, which is a knife that you've probably seen on several channels now. And not even worrying about the blade because it's the size of it. The height and the thickness of the handle scales just makes it very difficult for me to grip with my hands. I'm saying this against it in that I wouldn't carry it. Even if it was not an automatic, I would not carry one this small. I have other knives that small. I didn't pull any of them out. I have knives smaller than this.
Most of your neck knives are about that small.
Well, neck knives are a little bit different because of the way you grab onto them. You grab them and you're like this with your thumb. I mean,
yeah.
I don't really Well, for one thing, there's no choil there, so if I try to get my finger too far forward, I'm going to be bleeding all over the place. And while there's some jimping, it's way in the back here, and the jimping actually suggests to your hand to hold a little further back. Which is because there's nothing here. I mean, there's a little bitty sharpening choil, and that sharpening choil is actually going to give you quite a bit of room to sharpen. I mean, it's for what it is, it's really well made. But even though the scales on my neck knife are smaller, one, I'm usually using my neck knife like this. Because I'm usually cutting very small things. I'm cutting a string, I'm opening a package, I'm opening a box, I'm cutting a piece of tape. I'm not whittling with my neck knives. I'm not... Yeah, people are out there, well, I don't whittle either. You're right, you don't. I do.
I whittle with my Leatherman occasionally.
You also whittle with your folding knife I gave you. I've seen you do it. Because we're rednecks and we whittle. I completely forgot something. I need to check real quick. Okay. Sorry about that. Tim Shanks does 3D printing. And I have one of these sharpeners, and he makes a little wasset that stiffens up your arm here so that it doesn't move while you're sharpening. And I ordered one of those from him. He was very nice to make me one and send it out real quick. And he also sent me this knife stand. And so I wanted to give out a shout out to Tim Shanks, because if you've noticed the knife sitting in the stand, that sharpener had absolutely nothing to do with this video, so ignore it. Completely ignore the man behind the curtain. But I had to look up who it was because I have Dane Bramage and I don't remember. But Tim Shanks made this knife stand, and I wanted to thank him for that. Because it will hold, as you can see, it holds... There we go. It holds the small knife very nicely. It holds the medium knife very nicely. That was my good knife. I have a lot of knives. It holds, well, with a little bit of help, it holds a field knife. There we go. It holds a field knife. This is a knife I'm more comfortable using. This is one I use a lot. For those who haven't heard me say it 25 times before, this is a Tops Brothers of Bushcraft, or Bob, Fieldcraft knife. Now back to this. I digressed there sharply. This is premium materials. It is very, very well milled. It is very well designed. It's built like a tank for what it is. But this is not something, even if I were in a place that allowed it, you would ever see me carry. With that in mind, I'm going to wrap this up. Remember, do something kind for someone. Doesn't have to cost anything except a moment of your time. A kind word, help with a bag. It could make all the difference in the world. Get out in the woods, Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Be safe.